Hi, in this lesson we want to talk about the laws of roots. So, starting off, we have the product rule, just like the laws of exponents. To be true with you, these two sets of laws are not independent of each other. The laws of roots are actually stemming from the laws of exponents. It's just that roots deal with fractional powers. That is why they were formed, because working with fractional powers is a bit complicated. So, product rule, which is the first one, states that if we have a root, the nth root, for example, of a multiplied by b, we can separate this and assign each value its own root while still keeping the same operation. So root ab is equal to root a multiplied by root b. That's the first one. Then the quotient one, or the quotient rule, states that if I have the nth root of a over b, this will be equal to the nth root of a over the nth root of b. Again, similar notion. Then the third one, which is called the power rule, goes as follows. The nth root of a to the power of m is equal to the nth root of a to the power of m. Then the last one will stem from this format. So if we have the nth root of a to the power of m, we can rewrite this as an exponent to be in the form a to the power of m over n. So basically, a square root or an nth root is basically raising your number or the value that you have underneath the root to the power of 1 over the type of root that you have. So for example, if we have a square root of a, this is similar to having a to the power of 1 over 2. If we have the cube root of a, this is similar to having a to the power of 1 over 3. Similarly, if we have the fourth root of a to the power of, let's say, 7, this is similar to having a to the power of 7 over 4. So here the power of a was 1, that's why it was 1 over 2 and then 1 over 3. But in this case, if the power of a is a number greater than 1, we still apply the same rule by dividing that power by the nth type of the root that we currently have. And then another thing to remember is that when working with roots, it is impossible to have an even nth root of a negative number. So, what does this mean? It means that we cannot have 2 or 4 or 6 or 8th root of a number b where b is less than 0. This cannot be true. It just does not work mathematically, because what you're asking yourself is, how can I, for the basic example, like the square root of -1, you're asking yourself, what can I raise, what two numbers can I multiply to get -1? Whereas we know you cannot multiply two numbers if those numbers are identical to get a negative number. If you multiply positive times positive, you always get positive. If you multiply negative times negative, you always get positive. So answering this question is out of the scope of grade 12 and NPTs, and it's not something that you will be examined on. But all in all, this is the laws of roots. Again, these are all tools that help us to simplify expressions or equations to allow us to get the most simplest form or to allow us to solve for an unknown variable.